Hi, and welcome to Split the E podcast. I'm your host, Sean O'Grady. In this podcast, we split the E from the entertainment of Vancouver City right down the middle. How do we do that, you ask? By taking local artists out for a pint of Guinness. This week's guest is JD. How are you, man? JD, how are you, man? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Sean. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Yeah,
and
cheers.
happy belated birthday of Disco Freaks.
Yeah,
you.
just a year coming in now, so yeah, it's
Brilliant.
yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
So this is going to be a test run. The challenge to split the E is the next point. So best of luck with it, right?
Okay, here we go.
Salud. Oh. I definitely didn't get that.
I didn't get it either, man. I didn't get it.
I'm good with the fresh points. The fresh points are fucking
Yeah.
when it's a little bit puffy.
Yeah.
But the next one we're going to get.
Okay. Sounds
So, John, how did you get into music and DJ? Where did it all stem from?
good. I guess being from Sligo, it's very like musically orientated town
Yeah.
in Ireland. And I think like every one of my mates that I hung around with in the school we went to, we all listened to music, whether it was rock or if it was house music, and there was a divide in that sense, you know.
Yeah.
They kind of hated each other, not so much myself, I like everything,
100%.
but
I
you know
get
the
it,
way it
yeah.
is in Ireland, you know.
It's like with us as well, when we were growing up, if you found that tune that
Yeah.
is unbelievable, you own that tune.
So that was a big reason I think that I became a DJ, is because I loved finding new music. Like
100%.
I loved having a fresh playlist.
Yeah.
And like it even stemmed from like, remember when we had the 30-second recordings on our old Nokias and our Sagem phones?
Yeah.
And I loved having like a recording. I'd be up to the MTV adverts again, like recording every one of the songs like for 30 seconds. But anyways, I used to always love having a fresh playlist, and even my friends would be like, "Put on Jod's playlist," you know.
Oh.
And just like back at house parties or
Then
wherever we
that
were.
developed to having two windows of YouTube open and you were clicking and unclicking and
mixing
mashing them together.
mixing YouTube songs. That became a thing at a stage. But yeah, I guess like just like always loved having a fresh playlist, and I never thought of it as like a DJ or like a producer as someone that was me. I always thought it was somebody famous, like, so I never like explored much further into even much instruments, like, you know.
No way, yeah.
I just never really got into it so much, but one day it kind of clicked with me. It was like, wait a minute, anybody can do this if they
Yeah.
just put their mind to it. And
Yeah.
it was a really like life-changing moment for me in that sense, because I realized then that anyone can do whatever the fuck they want
100%.
once they just put their mind to it and once they give it a bit of time.
So how old were you when you started like buying equipment or buying like?
This was, I was,
Did you start it on like record box?
it's about 7 years ago, so 7 or 8 years ago, I picked up my first set of decks.
Yeah.
Because I realized anyone can do whatever they want as long as they put their time into it.
100%.
And I DJ'd in my house. I moved out of my house, actually my home
So you're
house.
still in Sligo at the moment.
I was still in Sligo at this time, yeah, back in Ireland, and I was in my home house, and the mother was giving out shite because I was booming bass down from my room every single night. Like. So I moved out with my friends to a house just down the road, actually, and it happened to be a corner house on the street as well. That was detached from the rest of the estate. So I had that little bit of durability in terms of how loud I could put the sound up.
Yeah.
So every single night after work, I would come in and I just run straight from my decks because I was so excited to play them. And I played every night for about 6 months straight.
When you were getting into that type like
Yeah.
electronic music, what like drew you to it, and what was it? Was it trance? Like trance music was kind of like the scene that I got into first, and
Yeah.
then my sound developed.
Well, I
going
guess,
on.
yeah, I guess like, you know, like before I actually became a DJ, as I said, like I constantly was looking for new music,
Yeah.
and it would be very broad in that spectrum towards genres. Like I would have had some techno playlists, or I would have had house playlists or trance playlists as
Yeah.
well. But when I actually started DJing, my real love was for like disco house edits and like and house.
Yeah.
And that's what I really started like downloading loads of music.
Can
of
you
that.
remember like your first artist that you kind of like drew to and just like listened to consistently, religiously, like?
Yeah, it was before I started DJing. A couple of years before that is Pleasure Crafts. And
Oh,
do you
right,
remember Tarantula, that song? It was
I actually don't know this from.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
have to look it up.
It's
my homework for the week now.
Pleasure Craft, Tarantula. And then there's another like really heavy techno song,
Yeah.
which was by Dustin Zahn. It's Stranger to Stability,
Okay.
it's called. And that's a fucking heavy techno tune, like heavy
yeah.
techno. But I used to like play those on repeat, and then like when I actually like got into the DJing side of it and started downloading music, it was more like the likes of Fullamore. It was
Okay.
like probably the grooviest motherfucker alive.
Yeah.
Right? Fullamore, and just like a lot of the other stuff that was coming up on House Eam. It's a channel on YouTube, and they have their own record label now too.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Was there nights like I grew up in Clare, but I would go out in Limerick City, and Limerick City was literally blessed with having like great underground electronic nights.
Yeah.
Shout out to Die, which was dub Indian electro, and
Yeah.
that was a student night. That was on a
Yeah,
Thursday.
I think I've heard of Die before,
Oh,
actually.
dude,
Yeah.
fucking Dan Stykes and the guys, they're unbelievable.
Yeah.
They knew how to throw a party. Like, was
Yeah.
that any? I'm sure there was in Sligo, was there?
Yeah, I guess like, you know, we had like a nightclub called the Clarence, right? And that was my first like experience of like club night,
Yeah.
life, all that kind of buzz. But then some of our best mates, Bram and Hamos, they're
Yeah.
used to be DJ name. They've now split up.
Yeah.
But those two guys came together years and years ago, along with their friends Garage Doherty and Dean Clancy, and they started throwing nights called Faint in Sligo.
Faint.
Faint.
Oh, faint.
Faint.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
like as if you're fainting. And they
So many people did.
there's lots of that
Yeah,
occurring.
yeah,
So they started running nights, just being a club night in Vancouver, and they started booking in really big DJs, and like it was then is when like I really started kind of getting into it, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So then that was like you made the decision to leave Sligo and come to Vancouver. And when you were here, what nights were you going to in Vancouver?
So when I started DJing, like my first ever club night was with Faint. I was so chuffed to be invited by them. Like it was crazy for me. Like to see like they were throwing parties with like, you know, Green Velvet and like Bicep and bigger DJs like that. And then for them to invite me to play, and I played my first night in a smoking area back in a club called the Velvet Rooms in Sligo.
Yeah.
And got 3 hours to myself for my first ever set, playing the same night as Detroit Swindle, who are pretty fucking big. Right?
Yeah.
And I managed to like do really well that night. Ended up going back to back with like my sensei, who was Shona Brophy. She, like, big ups to her, big shout out to Shona. She really showed me the ropes on how to use like club standard CDJs is what they are. So it's the industry standard turntables.
Yeah.
She gave me a big helping hand to start getting to know that system, and doing my first event, I was like a little bit nervous in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
You know, and my first mix went a little bit off, right? It was just a small bit off, but Shona was in the crowd. There was only like 6 people there. My friends, like close friends, was in there from the get-go. And Shona kind of looked at me and came up and she said to me, "We'll just go back to back, like we've been practicing in the room until now." Like, and I was like, couldn't think getting better. And we just took the night away, and we actually, I'm pretty sure we took the crowd off Detroit Cymbal that night. You know, I'm pretty sure we did. The smoking area was wedged, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, we became known as like a buzzing duo in Sligo. Unintentionally, like became known as
Just
a duo
naturally.
because any event that she had, she would invite me to do a back-to-back, and the same if I had an event, I'd invite her to do a back-to-back, and we just like shared our events with each other that way.
Yeah.
so we became known as the duo, but it was really kicking off. We were playing weekly, and then my best mate, Sean McGill, who's now also DJing over here.
Yeah.
Taught him how to DJ over here. He proposed that we go to Canada. We were at Life Festival, actually. I don't know if you've ever been.
Wicked festival. Wicked festival, yeah.
So we were just on, like, I think day 3 of the festival, and we were kind of just chatting, and he just proposed it. Would we go to Canada, Jod? And I was like, fuck, I'd love to do that, man. Yeah. So I kind of just up and left everything that I had going, and came to Canada. And we arrived here, and it was hard to get going. We didn't really know anyone in the scene. We didn't know any nightclubs, owners of nightclubs, should I say. So me and a couple of lads, we just kind of got together. We had done a couple of basement raves over here. And like 100 people were turning up. So we were like, okay, this is something that we could actually make something out of.
Yeah.
And because we couldn't contact with any of the nightclubs or like get a good like lead into like getting in the scene, we just started, right, let's do our own. And we set up Public House.
Yeah.
Myself, Kev Martin, Michael O'Grady, and Jay Meehan.
Yeah.
Came together, we went to my room, we had a mix, we sat around, we were like, right, what will we call it? And Kev just goes, Public House. And we all just kind of like pinged up. We pinged up. Yeah. And we're like, okay. And we sold out all of our events to start off with.
Yeah. The first one was in that
it was in the Anza Club.
Yeah,
the Anza Club. Yeah. It's like fit 100 people in there, and we had like maybe 140 or 150 in there that night. I remember one of my best mates, McNulty, was like, I've got a load of these birds outside. They're all looking for tickets. Can you give me a ticket? And I had a load of wristbands on me. I was like, I'll go for it, man, but say nothing. Like, just get the tenner cash off them.
It's all good vibes, though, isn't it?
Yeah, all good vibes.
Come on in.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So Public House like really hit it off, and as we came in, like we started in 2019, and then 2020 hit, and we had loads of plans. It was going to be a huge summer. I myself was kind of thinking, right, I might kick the day job for the summer and just save enough money to cover my rent for the summer, and then figure it out from there, because like this is where my passion, my heart is. Like, I was getting lots of money in my job in IT, but not really happy there, and it's all I wanted to do. So I by January, the end of January, I'd already saved enough to cover my rent for the summer, like for the 3 months at least. But then COVID hit, and it shot all our plans. We couldn't do anything then,
So moving forward to your new project, which was Disco Freaks, and that's a year old now.
Yeah.
And to think about the last year, how much you accomplished in a year is absolutely fucking nuts.
Yeah.
You've conquered nightlife, you conquered the water, you did both parties.
Both parties, yeah.
And you fucking made the wild groovy with Groovin' the Wild, like.
Yeah.
So that's a festival that started last year, and it's happening in July 29th.
Yeah.
29th, 28th?
29th to July 3rd this summer.
Yeah.
It's called Groovin' the Wild.
That's Canada weekend, Canada
Day weekend,
yeah.
And it so happens as well, I'm actually trying to divide and conquer the lineup right now. We have 60 artists for this year. It's a lot to deal with, you can imagine, because I always like to try and like control the flow of music throughout the day as well, and always like picture how this DJ is going to play compared to the next one, and make it so that you're not going to overpower too early on in the day. So it's hard. Every time I look at it, I'm like changing the names around in the lineup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Simon Cowell. Like.
Yeah. But it's starting to come together now. We have 60 artists. It's definitely like going to be probably the biggest thing I've ever done in my life.
I could imagine so.
It's really like.
I'm going to ask a difficult question. In your eyes, what makes a good party? Like, what makes the festival?
It's the music to me, right? It's all about the music to me.
Vibes.
I mean, the reason I'm doing any of what I do is because of the music. And
that actually brings me on to the next question. Outrageously good tunes. Give me 3 outrageously fucking good tunes that you know right now, and the audience that are watching can look forward to in your next set.
Okay, yeah. All right. there's like three of my all-time favorites, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you know, actually, it's funny enough. Most of them are actually vinyl only records, and it's very hard to get them digitally.
Shit.
Number one, my all-time favorite is by Rhythm Masters. It's called Ghetto Style DJs.
Okay.
And it's on, like, when I kind of start, like, before I just started DJing and before I picked up my first set of decks, this is the one that was like number one in my playlist. Like any party that I would go to, I'd be like dying to get on the phone and be like, here, let me put on a tune, like, and I'd show everyone this tune. And it's Ghetto Style DJs. It's only until like I actually started DJing, I realized that you couldn't get a digital copy of it, right? And I started DJing pretty much because I wanted to play this tune out to people, right? But
You need to hear this.
as I used to hear this, like, yeah, exactly.
It's glad.
But I realized you couldn't get a digital copy of it, and I only learned how to digitally DJ as well. Like from the beginning, you can get some tunes onto your USB and plug it in and then go. But this one, I realized when I started that it was only available on vinyl, so I was like, all right, I can't play this, right? And that inspired me to actually start vinyl DJing and like start learning how to vinyl DJ. So I picked up a set of vinyls with one of my mates, Daniel Doherty.
Yeah.
The two of us at the time, we were trying to push this alias called Celt-9b.
Okay.
And Celt-9b is actually what it is. It's the hottest exoplanet in the universe. So it's it's the hottest thing in the universe.
Bar the sun.
Yeah. Bar the sun. It's constantly, it's like spinning so fast that it's like generating heat basically.
Holy
It's a star, right? So we kind of did a little bit of research on it, and we were like, okay,
I like it.
we were like, all right, okay, we'll go with this name, like, you know.
All right.
But he was a vinyl DJ anyway, so he had to do vinyl, and then that kind of like inspired me to kind of get more into it as well.
If I'm a novice, right, and forgive me for saying, is it more convenient to DJ on CDJs?
Yes.
Compared to records?
So with CDJs, and especially with the newer models of CDJs that are out there, like you can learn to DJ by just looking at the waveforms that they present on the screens that they have.
Yeah.
You can see like where the bass is going to kick in, and if it's lining up together, they kind of all go together.
Yeah.
Which is not the way I learned. Like I learned on like raw basic CDJs with Shona.
Yeah.
And there's a loading bar, right? And that was your timer for the tune. Like it's at 32 seconds now, or it's at a minute and 15 seconds now.
So you really need to know your tune.
You needed to know, like, yeah. So that's like, and what it is, like, you're training your ear to
count the phrases.
Count the phrases, and basically like music and that together was how you DJ, like, and that's how I know how to DJ.
And technical question: when you're setting out a set, do you do it like in key and set it out that way, or are you just like in the moment? I'm telling this kind of like story?
I tried once. It was actually my first gig with Public House. I tried putting a playlist together and be like, right, I want to play this one right at this time. I want to play the next one right at this time. And I felt it went well. I did it pretty well. I did a lot of practice for it, so it actually went well. But it requires a lot of practice. And the way I feel I like to DJ is like it's more about feeling the flow and feeling what's going on and like seeing what's happening in the crowd, right? I always DJ that way now. So when I DJ, I get a playlist of tunes that I know kind of sound well together. Yeah. Put 60 of them in the playlist for an hour set, and then when I get there, I just let it happen. Like I start with one, I'm like, okay, thinking in my head on the spot, what's the next one that will go with this, and so on and so on. And sometimes even like I may even like download a completely fresh playlist that I've never tried playing before. And then just go with it. And I did that at Electric Love last year, actually. I downloaded a full new playlist. Never ever played them before, but like the night before, I was actually like kind of rushing because I had a festival the weekend before. I think it's called Under the Stars, or maybe I'm getting a little bit mixed up. Anyways, I had little time to prepare for Electric Love, and Electric Love was like, to me, was like one of the big moments of my summer last year. Like, so like, it's a huge festival. They normally get about 2,000 to 5,000 people. Like, so I was like thinking, I really need to prepare for this, but my summer was so busy last year that like I didn't have enough time, and it's literally the night before. I was like, sometimes you just like strike a gold mine, man, when you're like looking for tunes, and it's like each tune I listen to is like, oh yeah, I'm playing that tomorrow. Oh yeah, I'm playing that tomorrow. I'm playing that tomorrow. Yeah. So I had no time to practice, but I put them together and I listened to them a good few times. And then when I got up on the stage at Electric Love, I just played it, and it just worked.
It makes it more fresh for you too.
For me, it's like it's so on the fly, and it shows that you're human. Like, you're not just doing this like pre-played thing, and you're not just like trying to keep to a certain thing. It shows that you're human. You're just like,
you're like riding a wave.
You're going with the flow, right? You're going with the flow, and that's how music works. You just go with the flow. Like, sometimes the flow is low, but sometimes the flow is high. Right?
I'm gonna get 2 more pints of Guinness there.
Okay.
And this is the main challenge. This is where shit hits the fan.
Yeah. Right? Okay.
Can you split the E or not?
I do have.
So much.
Cheers, first of all, obviously. Okay, are we going for it?
So, we're going to go for it now in a few minutes. I got to shout out Larry Kyo, because if you follow Larry Kyo on Instagram, he does this funny thing, and it's videos, and you do a little face, and have you seen that?
I've never seen that, but
you won't be able to see it, but shout out Larry Kyo for that, man. That's so funny. You ready?
Okay.
Well, we're going to do it.
I've been practicing this now, so here we go.
Embarrassing myself the last couple of times, so I better redeem myself.
All right, man, here we go.
Cheers, man.
Oh, I actually fucking did it.
Winner, all right. Winner, all right.
Spilled a little bit, but you know what? Here we go. I think we actually pinged it, man. Well done. Yeah, well done.
Unreal, man. Winners. Yeah. Where can people find you? Disco Freaks on Instagram.
They have Disco Freaks on Instagram. We've set up our new account called Groove in the Wild, and that's specifically for the festival, because we reckon that's going to pick up itself as a separate entity almost.
May I add as well, I got my tickets for what it is. It's a 4-day festival.
Yeah.
Comedy, music, DJing, live artists, dancers, everything, and it only costs $200 plus tax.
Yeah, I mean,
you will not find a better, like perfectly priced festival. Definitely, I cannot wait to fucking go.
Yeah.
Honest to God.
Yeah, because like, honest to God, now that's what we really wanted to be different compared to others. Is like, a lot of the festivals here, they have very high priced tickets. Yeah. And back in Ireland, like, it wasn't never that way. So it's all tying into like me wanting to bring the house music vibe that we have in Europe and Ireland, and like every part of it, I want to bring it here, and like showing people that we can do this for a little less, like, and the reason we kind of do cheaper tickets and cheaper events like that is because it's all about the community for us too. Like, like we're not just doing this because we want to make money. Like, we're really in it because we want to throw parties and we want to buzz with all of our friends that come to these parties, and we don't want to rip our friends off. And a lot of our fan base is purely friends.
The fact of having them smaller festivals, you nearly get to know everyone too.
Yeah.
By the end of it, we're one big happy family.
I did that last year too, like,
You call everyone freaks now.
Yeah.
Which literally, let's go fucking freaking wild, like groove in the wild. Let's do it. Like.
It's the way it kind of turned over like that too. Like,
I love it, man.
We became disco freaks because it's disco frequencies, right? And then like the whole freaks thing, it just like spit rolled like kind of into, we call our followers freaks. So recently now we've like started a new thing. It's called Freak of the Week. And the Freak of the Week is just someone that we really appreciate in our community, and it could be someone that we work with closely, or just a stander in the crowd that is dancing as well, like, and that's so always there right up the front, like,
I remember I believe it was Bass Coast. I was at a couple of years back.
Yeah.
And there was this one guy, and he was literally, he had nothing on. He literally had, I think it was like a disco ball kind of themed costume.
Right, okay.
It was basically a hat and a pair of Speedos. And he would not stop dancing.
Yeah.
And everyone was kind of, there was a lull, but he would not stop dancing. And that's what you want, like.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. And there's there's a lot of people that we have lined up already for this Freak of the Week.
Yeah.
That are people like that, maybe not so much fully naked.
Yeah.
Maybe have a little bit more clothes on, but ones that just really stood out to us is like they're always up the front, right like cheering it on, like, you know.
Wow.
Those people are special, and also people that just like put in a lot of effort to help us get through our first year last year, like, you know, like just like throwing everything at it. Like they're just so excited as excited as us to see something new sparring up, like, you know.
100%. What I did during the week was I went onto Spotify and I set up my own Groove in the Wild playlist, and I searched all of the artists that are playing at it now.
Unreal.
Number one, that like Uncle Nose.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Uncle Nose is unbelievable.
He actually is Sean and Eddie's best mate from college as well. So that's kind of how we gotten him over here too. So we realised he's becoming bigger in the scene, and we were throwing this, and he got on to us, and we got on to him. And we're like, here, get over here, man. Let's give you a good slot, like, you know.
Uncle Nose, versatile. They're number one on iTunes Ireland download for their new album that's been released. They're touring with Snoop Dogg at the moment in Perth, Australia, which is crazy.
It's huge.
Yeah,
it's massive. Man.
They're going to bring an extra vibe to to this festival, which is going to be like legit, like
different, like, you know.
I
and
love
like,
it. I'm excited about this, man. It's so good. Like.
It's massive, and like we also got Chase and Abby in now as well, right?
Abby, Sive.
Yeah, Siv, yeah,
sorry,
she's Canadian based. Yeah.
She's unreal, dude.
Yeah, she's serious, man. Yeah.
Boots and Cats.
Cats, they were headliners last year. They were the one and only headliner that we like booked last year. You mean, like, you know, we didn't have a whole lot of money in the pot as well. Like, you know, we just started as an events group, and we're like, we need someone like that. And we're like, who's the disco legends of Ireland? And we're like, right, Boots and Cats, they're coming. And they've always were so like accommodating to it as well. They were like, Kieran actually is Kieran from Boots and Cats is actually living here at the minute as well. So he was like, yeah, look, I'm here, man. He's like, yeah, I'm well up for fucking supporting this, like, you know. It's really cool to hear that from that side of it, like.
Throughout, like, I unfortunately never got to go last year, which I was gutted, right? But I'm my tickets bought. I'm in. I cannot wait. The light shows that you did, and just to go back on another couple of artists as well, Rumpus.
Yeah, Rumpus is a huge Canadian artist.
Seeing him play live while he's DJing, it's nuts, man.
It's amazing what he does, man. Yeah, and like I didn't know much of Rumpus. McGill knew a lot about him, and he had a couple of his tunes like that he would play out to crowds here as well. So he like kind of shined the light on Rumpus for us, and you know, like, I didn't know where to fit him, because I'm the guy that would like definitely fit him into the lineup, but I can get the flow, and I didn't really know so much at the start. And then when he came down, he was like, oh, why didn't you put me into, you know, a more headliner position? I was like, well, you know what, where did you hear the flow of this music, man? And he came to me after, he's like, you know what, this is the perfect set to be playing after me, and this is the perfect set to be playing before me. And what he really respects as well, just having one stage, right? So that nobody is going
to be divided.
Yeah, there's no divide. Everyone's together. You got your whole community there, enjoying every artist. That, you know, they all deserve a full crowd. If you ask me.
And to touch on, last week I had Larry Kyo on. So
Larry maybe join us at Groove as well.
It's not just DJ set, there's comedy, there's dancers, and everything. Like,
that's what to bring as well.
It's a full vibe.
Music and arts festival, right? It's not just so, like, we are like, it's very house music driven at the minute, and like, you know, a lot of the artists there are going to be house music, but what we are trying to expand and become is the whole surrounding like the arts and the comedy and bands as well. And like, you know, next year we're going to allocate a lot more money to booking professional bands as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, my goal is like if I can book Beyonce to Groove in the Wild.
Fuck it, man. If you get Beyonce, and from my podcast, if I get Blind Boy on, we're both winning, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, that's literally that's goals, man.
Cheers
That's goals.
to that,
That's
yeah.
goals. Cheers.
Fucking living for the future.
Big time, man. Big time.
So actually, you never told me. You only told me one song. Outrageously good
That's right.
tunes. Two more, please.
Hey, so my other one will be by Thomas Bangalter.
Okay.
If you don't know him, he's half Daft Punk.
I didn't know that. I thought they were all masked up though.
Yeah, but I guess the other guy is Guillaume and Thomas Bangalter. The two of them are Daft Punk.
Breaking news. Yeah.
So yeah, he used to release tunes on his label called Roulette in like 1995. I think just before he became Daft Punk, or probably around the exact same time when the two guys used to, whatever they were doing, jamming together, right?
They're not brothers, no?
I don't think so, no.
No, I'm thinking of another brother group. They keep on going. I'll
Okay. So yeah, Thomas, he released a lot of like really like using a lot of like vocal samples for house music and French filtered house. Like he made this tune called Outrun. It's an absolute stomper. Like it's just like when it comes on, you're like, all right, you're like, what's this? And then it gets into the bass line. It's like boom, boom, and like it really gets into it, man. Right?
Yeah.
So that definitely will be a second one for me.
Hopefully this is in your set now in Groove in the Wild.
I mean, yet another one that's actually only available in good quality on vinyl.
On vinyl. Okay.
Yeah, and my third one is actually only on vinyl too. Now that I think about it. Yeah. So it's by Paul Johnson.
Okay.
God rest his soul. He just passed away last year.
No way. Same as Maxi Jazz, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But Paul has this tune, and it's uses a sample by A Taste of Honey called Boogie Oogie Oogie.
Okay.
And the mix that he made of it is Boogie Till You Oogie. Right? And it has all the vocals from that, so it's like Boogie Oogie Oogie till you just can't get it no more. Boogie, right?
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorites, man, right? And all three of them on vinyl, and I'm gonna be requesting like that as my performance, that I have a vinyl turntable set up, so that I can drop these tunes, because as I said for the first one, like, I realized that these tunes were on vinyl only, and I'm like dying to get them out, because I feel for me it's like my core, like it's my roots. It's where I've like started liking music is these three tunes, and if I can't play them out, then I feel like I'm missing something, you know.
That's unreal.
So yeah, vinyl is where it's at.
So even if I want to hear these, like if I go home, like my homework for tonight now, I have like 3, 4, 8, nearly 6 songs to listen to. I can't hear them.
No, you can hear them. You can hear them on YouTube, and that's where I heard them first. Like I heard because they're like vinyl rips, like, and there's only so many good vinyl rips of like these kind of tunes that would be good enough to play in a club, like, and like actually not sound like vomit coming out of a speaker, right? It'd be like really like crackly.
100%.
So I listened to them first of all on YouTube, and you know, basically when I realized that I couldn't get them on digital, I then realized like, right, I need to up my game and start learning how to produce vinyl, and now I have like 60 records, and I'm like getting there.
You can see it building slowly.
Yeah, I've got my own like box shelves for them now as well. I'm starting to pack them into the boxes, like, you know.
So in the next coming weeks, like when this is going to be released, it's coming up to like Paddy's Day, maybe like 2 weeks time.
Yeah.
Do you have any shows coming up where people can come out and see you before?
Yes, I do actually. It's not actually, it's unreleased at the minute, so it's a show
right now. But when they're watching, they're going to probably be released. Right?
Yeah, probably when you're watching, it's going to be released. It's my debut actually in Village Studios.
Nice.
Which is the Celebrities Underground is what I know it as.
Nice.
We used to go. I think I seen Floor Plan playing in there before.
Seinfeld. I went to Seinfeld.
Seinfeld was there as well. Yeah.
Months ago?
That's when it became Village Studios. It used to be Celebrities Underground, is what it was called.
Right.
So yeah, Seinfeld played there, and he is insane. But
unreal, man.
Insane. Yeah.
Do you ever hear that song where he has like a bit of Bob Geldof?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know the name of it. I just know Bob Geldof is in it and he's talking.
Okay.
Man. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please.
I'll put it up on the pod as well.
Yeah, link to it. Yeah,
100%. I love the man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so this one's happening on Paddy's night actually. I'll be opening the night in Village Studios. I'm delighted it's my debut for this club. It's actually like a really renowned club around Vancouver, so I'm absolutely fucking buzzed for this, like, you know.
It's actually a fucking amazing club. Like, go and check it out, like, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Come and check it out, guys, you know.
Yeah, and man, we're gonna sit here and enjoy the rest of our pints, and
okay, yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Great chatting with you, man.
Man, cheers.
Let me do this
100%. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, cheers, boss.
God bless. We see you next week, guys.